Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and look, this is my review for Chevalier, starring Kelvin Harrison Jr., Samara Weaving, Lucy Boynton, Minnie Driver, and was directed by Stephen Williams. And our story follows this African-American composer slash fencer who is brought to France to basically raise his status in the world because he's very gifted, very talented, and white people feel like he could be a lot more of use than just being on a plantation. So he's brought to this school to enhance his talents. He grows up and is given the title of Chevalier, which basically I'm going to sum that up as to meaning he's John Mayer from Get Hard. And now, yes, I know John Mayer is an artist. I know he's not just from the movie Get Hard. Basically, I'm referring to the line that John Mayer says in Get Hard.
You ever see 100 women get wet at the same time? Watch this.
That's basically who Chevalier is in this damn movie. He's basically just the John Mayer of this whole thing, of this whole operation. But look, essentially what is really happening in this film is this is kind of like the lead up to a revolution. Basically, Chevalier challenges this guy to duel for a spot in like the head of the whole opera situation, and basically he's just being brought to reality that a black man will never have a status that high in France. And this is basically like leading into the revolutionary stage where all that is kind of changing, but of course they still don't accept black people. That's the best way to describe this plot, and so let's just get on to what I liked and what I didn't like about the movie. Okay, so the first thing about this film that I didn't just like but absolutely loved was the performance by Kelvin Harrison Jr. Look, I wasn't even interested in going to see this film. The only reason I really did was because I wanted to watch a double feature and Polite Society wasn't playing at the theater I wanted to see this at, and so I walked in, and I have seen movies by Kelvin Harrison Jr. before. I've seen Loose, I've seen Waves, and he's absolutely phenomenal in those. And again, he is the whole reason I'm just entertained by this thing, man. I mean, this dude just has just this sense of charisma, this sense of passion, this sense of grit. Like, he just gives it. You can literally see this dude giving 110% to his craft on screen, and it's just something I had a lot of fun watching, man. I mean, this dude really made this entire movie, this entire plot, this entire just storyline way more interesting than it was supposed to be. Just for me, I'm not necessarily like the biggest period piece guy, but for whatever reason, I was very enthralled by what was going on screen. I was very interested by what was going on, and a big majority of that, and a big credit to that, goes to Kelvin Harrison Jr. because he made this story a lot more interesting than it was supposed to be, at least for me. Like I said, I was in the theater with a bunch of old people, so I'm sure they were having a lot more fun than I was just watching the period piece part. But for me, the most entertaining thing about this entire film is Kelvin Harrison Jr.'s performance himself. This dude is immensely talented, and he really needs to start getting some mainstream or a lot more media attention, because I need the people to realize that this dude probably could take Jonathan Major's spot. Maybe not necessarily as Kang. Actually, maybe he could. Who knows? But Kelvin Harrison Jr. is one of the next up black actors, man. I mean, this dude is just absolutely insane. Samara Weaving as well. Absolutely adored her in this film. I love Samara Weaving. Honestly, she has so many similarities to Margot Robbie in a sense. Just, they're very blonde. They kind of look alike. But Samara Weaving really is doing her best to like make her own name in Hollywood. She's doing a phenomenal job, I must say. Honestly, it was really funny to see her and Margot Robbie in Babylon go back and forth. That was a very fun scene to watch. I'm not gonna lie to you. But look, in this film particularly, Samara Weaving and Kelvin Harrison Jr. are mainly the two reasons why I'm invested in this movie at all. They are giving very strong performances. They are giving very convincing performances, and ones that I'm honestly just interested in throughout the entire film. They do such a phenomenal job. I love their chemistry on screen. They just worked very well together. As far as what I didn't like about the movie, there wasn't really much, surprisingly. Like I said, I'm not really the biggest period piece guy, but because of the two main actors, everybody else who kind of just played their part in this Shakespearean type-esque movie, I know this was based off of a true story, or it's kind of... No, it's based off a true story for the most part. I know because of that, essentially characters are going to just be playing the parts that they were supposed to play. But I mean, honestly, everybody did a good job. There wasn't necessarily anything that really stood out to me as like being very bad about this film. Some of the characters, the Marie Antoinette character is very annoying, but honestly, that like the characters' choices that they make in this film are all really just products of their environment. It's just essentially how France is. It's really kind of shaking to see Chevalier, aka Kelvin Harrison Jr., think that he can have a leg up in this world in France, especially being a black man in that day and age. For him to even think that, for him to have the confidence that he did, for him to walk and carry himself the way he did was even very brave, because at that time it's like no black man was doing that ever. And honestly, he was one of the first African American, I imagine the first African American fencers and violinists to ever hold a title of that, stature. And honestly, like I said, it just wasn't really much. There wasn't really much that I quote unquote didn't enjoy about the film. I honestly had a lot of fun in this film. Very surprisingly, I didn't expect to. Overall, guys, I'm not necessarily going to recommend this for everybody, because I'm not necessarily sure if period pieces are everybody's thing. But if you are looking for a movie with a captivating performance and honestly a very entertaining plot and very entertaining actors and actresses, especially the main ones, this is a movie for you to check out for sure. Chevalier has phenomenal performances. It has honestly, the violin scenes are very intense. I'm not gonna lie to you. If I had to make a list of my top 10 favorite instruments, violin is probably definitely in the bottom 5. But hey, Chevalier made that violin look very badass, I'm not going to lie to you. And honestly, I just enjoyed mostly everything that I saw in this film. And for all those reasons and so many more, guys, I'm going to give Chevalier a 3.75 out of 5 stars. Alright guys, so Chevalier, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Look, be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff and so much more, guys. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to comment below your thoughts if you have seen the film. Thank you so much for the support, guys. I really do appreciate it. Look, this is your guy in the chair. More content coming to you soon.